Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the DC Collectibles Batman the Animated Series Manbat figure. And I was not expecting this guy to come in the box that it did. It was a giant box and really impressive looking before I took it out of the package. Not quite as much once I did take it out, but it's still a pretty cool figure. So let's take a look at him. I'll give you a couple measurements here. He stands mostly straight up and down. You can bend him a little bit and change that, but he stands about 17.5 centimeters to the top of his ears, and that is it's about 7 inches to the top there. And then wingspan with the arms slightly up, because you probably don't want his arms straight out. Well, whatever, I'll just put the arms straight out. It's 12 to that one, so it's 16 inches across, which is, it's 30, almost 40 centimeters across. And that's with the opened wings. And I say that because you can't bend his elbows at all, so they gave him interchangeable arms, which also have no articulation other than the shoulder. We'll talk about that in a minute. So the basic figure, the way it comes in the package, has the wings expanded like this, which are really only good for flying poses. I mean, I guess they're okay, but they're even kind of bent out a little bit to make it look like he's flapping. So that's about it for that. He does come with, like I said, the interchangeable arms. So we have these, which I'll put them on and you can see in the review and at the end when I do the photos. These are just for kind of like the relaxed pose. No articulation still other than the shoulders. We get a VHS tape, which for some of you youngsters, you have no idea what this is. It's a thing we used to put videos on, like movies or recordings, things like that. And then we have 3 little pudding cups, which are not actually pudding cups. They are medicine containers, but they're actually really well done. Very nice little accessories. I could see people using those in photos with other figures. And then lastly, we get one of these lousy bases, which is ugly and mostly lousy, but has a cool little turnaround of the character. Sadly, we can't put him in that pose because the elbows don't bend. The reason they don't bend is because if they did put a bend in there, they'd have to separate the wing somehow, and I assume they just didn't want to do that. Alright, so let's look at the paint job of the figure. He really just has the painted gray pants, the painted wings, and then some paint detail on the face. The eyes are a little wonky on mine, but it's not horrible. The paint in the ears is okay. The paint in the mouth is okay. So no real big deal there. The wings painted well enough, so I can't really complain. The only issue I have with the wings is that this middle, whatever these things are called, I'm sure somebody out there knows what they're called, and you can tell me if you want to. I don't know what they're called. Anyway, this thing, it's not sculpted down here. It's just smooth. So sculpted here, here, and here, and all the way down on all of these. Same for all of the wings, by the way. It's just not sculpted on the middle one all the way down from the midpoint down. It's very odd to me. In fact, it's better on the down wings. I just noticed that. But still, it's almost not sculpted at all there. So a little strange. No big deal, though. Paint's fine. Articulation, like I said, for the shoulders, it's just this. And then a swivel. And it's a really strange joint because they didn't sculpt the arm. They could have just sculpted the shoulder bigger to hide that disc, but they didn't. So that's a little odd. It's not a huge deal, but it is a little bit odd. The head is on a double ball peg, so you can bring it up and down a little bit. Not as much as I would have liked, since he's going to be in a flying pose, perhaps. Could have been a little bit better, but it will swivel and it can lean a little bit from side to side, so it'll do. Definitely good enough. We have a swivel up here that looks like a diaphragm joint, but it's only for the swivel, which is fine because it works well for that. And then we get a really nice ab crunch. You can bring them all the way forward if you want to, but then again, you can't bring the head up, so that's not going to do any good. And you can bring him pretty far back. Not all the way, but back far enough. You'll get a little bit of a ledge here. They should have probably rounded that out, but no big deal. It's nice that they included the articulation. Now for the hips, we get these standard hips, which they don't have the best range of motion, but it is there. And then we also get the lateral joint, which is really gummed up with paint, unfortunately. But it is there. And then we get knee joints, which basically don't exist. They sculpted the knee joint and then gave us one that doesn't work. They should have just given us a regular knee joint. Made it nice and stiff to hold him up, but that's kind of pointless right there. And then unfortunately for the ankles and everything, all we get is this swivel and this double sculpted joint here. So it's going to be very hard to pose him in anything other than a straight up and down pose. That's really all you're going to get. So it's some odd choices, but still he's a pretty cool looking figure. Let's put his wings on so you can see these pop off really easily. They're almost not held in tight enough. And then we can put the relaxed arms on, which is how I would probably display him, because the other ones, they just don't look normal standing there. These look a little awkward also, but definitely much better, I think. So I would probably display him just with these down like this. And I think he's a pretty good looking figure, so if you're collecting this line, you should probably pick it up. If you're just collecting cool figures, I'm not sure if it's cool enough for that. He's not that well known of a character outside of the Batman fandom, so I probably wouldn't suggest it. But if you are collecting Batman figures, and in particular this line, then this is one you should probably get. So there it is, guys. Check out Big Bad Toy Store. Pick it up if you are one of those people that's going to pick it up. It probably, like I said, once things sell out lately, guys, they've been going up in value a lot. And this is from the animated series, which people are particularly fond of, so you should probably grab it while you can. There's a link in the description for that. And make sure you click that like button and subscribe if you like my videos so you can see my upcoming figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.